Let me start by thanking the organizers of this occasion. I've sat for a few minutes and I've been thoroughly moved. I've used the occasion to send a number of messages to my colleagues in Kenya that a powerful thing is going on in Uganda, and that in the fullness of time, we Kenyans and I hope East Africans must embrace what is happening in Uganda. Corruption is something that we talk about. It is something that we complain about. It is something whose negative impact we recognize. It is something that even the corrupt acknowledge is a bad thing. But the irony and the tragedy at once is that those who engage in corruption love it. The tragedy at once is that those of us who do not engage in it directly accommodate it. Our levels of tolerance for corruption in Africa is amazing. A long time ago, a great Greek philosopher said that it is in the nature of man to hang the small thieves and to elect the great ones into public office. We do that in Uganda, we do that in Kenya, we do that in Tanzania, we do that in Africa. And that is why Africa remains the poorest continent on earth. I was this morning rereading a book which I commend to you, a book written by a young Zambian economist called Dambisa Moyo, the book called Dead End. And in the introduction in that book, there is a note which was found in the bodies of two young Guineans who died while trying to run away from Africa. Today, many young Africans are running away. Not so long ago, about 4 weeks to be exact, 300 young Africans drowned in the Mediterranean Sea in Lampedusa because they were running away from Africa. Not so long ago, about 3 weeks to be exact, another group of young Africans drowned next to the island of Malta because they were running away from Africa. When you look at Africa today, whether you are looking at Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Nigeria, or indeed any country in Africa, our richest men and women are the men and women who occupy public office. We live in a continent where we celebrate thieves and vilify good men and women. That is the tragedy of Africa. While every other continent in the recent past has moved in the right direction, Africa still remains, in the words of Tony Blair, as the scar in the conscience of humanity. We live in a continent today where, as the young man has said, our young women, upon attaining puberty, cannot afford sanitary pads. But our public servants have iPads which they do not know how to use. We live in a continent today where our leaders who preside over our health sectors have no faith in the health sector. When they are sick and their families are sick, they run away to seek treatment in Germany, in France, in the United Kingdom, in South Africa and India. Even our health ministers don't have faith in our health departments. We live in a country and countries today where the political leadership have no faith in the education sector. They bring unto us what they call free primary education or universal primary education, but they can never dare take their children to those schools. We live in countries where we claim that agriculture is the backbone of our societies, but we do not use technology to produce crops. Africans are dying younger than they were dying 50 years ago. We live in a country where Africans will energetically seek to amend the Statute of Rome while there is war in Mali, while there is war in Mauritania, while there is no peace in Somalia, while there is no rest in Eritrea. Africa is a tragic continent. And I want to submit to you that corruption is the source of all these. For some reason, a reason that I do not understand, Africans still engage in primitive accumulation. Many Africans, particularly those in public service, will never rest until they have homes in different capitals in the world which they'll never live in. They have cars which they'll never drive. They have beds of gold which they never sleep on because they have no sleep anyway. They buy food which they cannot eat because they long lost their appetites. We live in sad times. I had the privilege of serving as the director of the Kenyan Anti-Corruption Commission. But it would appear that I did not understand my brief well. Upon being appointed, I assumed that my mandate was to go out there and fight the corrupt. But the truth was that I was not supposed to fight corruption. I was supposed to appear to be fighting corruption. Immediately, me and my team tried to fight corruption. The parliamentarians, in their wisdom and in my own view, in their lack of wisdom, used the occasion of the amendment of the law to disband the organization and to send myself and my 4 directors out of office. The history of anti-corruption crusaders in Africa is one and the same. Their mortality rate in office is very short. Before I was victimized, before my victimization, Nuhu Ribadu before me had been victimized in Nigeria. Before I was victimized, McCarthy had been victimized in South Africa and his scorpions disbanded. Before I was victimized, my equivalent in Malawi had been victimized. Before I had been victimized, my equivalent in Zambia had been victimized. It would appear that in Africa, if you serve your full term, it is because you have refused to fight corruption. So the question that we must ask here and now, on an occasion such as this, what must Africa do going forward? It gives me great joy that you Ugandans have moved from the drawing table and you have now chosen to go out there to do that which is right and good. You have chosen today, through the commencement of the caravan, to move from the comfort of hotels in Kampala to go into Karamoja land, to go into Gulu, to go into Teso, to go into Hoima, to go into Kasese, to go into Mtukula, to go into all the corners of Uganda, so that the conscience of Ugandans can be reawakened, so that they may realize that corruption is a cancer that must not be allowed to grow. But I want to use this occasion to remind you that it's not going to be easy. The children of darkness, who are the perpetrators of corruption, have one advantage over the children of light. They are well organized. They are prepared to kill. They are prepared to do anything on earth to ensure that their ill-gotten wealth is retained